Roberto Obama, Spanish Radio, New York City. Now that you have a couple of days to digest what happened on Saturday, did any of your thoughts change as far as how the game went and ended?
Of course, when you have a little more time to digest it and review the match, certain things come to mind. But overall, I think we did okay for a first match. But it also pointed out there's work to be done because we addressed game management from the beginning of the season, and we got a big lesson learned about game management in this game against Miami, considering the fact what happened at the end of the game.
As far as what happened at the end of the game, when you review the tape, is there anything that you would have liked to see the team do different at that point?
In the end phase, you mean?
Yeah, and the goal, allowing the goal.
Yeah, of course. It was one of the few times that we stretched ourselves when it was totally unnecessary. You see a few things from a naive perspective go on. First moment is with Juli going down to the floor. Keats, one of our more experienced players, not making the foul. One of our youngsters not closing the channel enough, and we get punished severe for it. So it was, as I said just now, a big lesson learned, and hopefully we'll take that with us into the next games and try to avoid it. You're welcome.
Okay, onto the Zoom. We'll go with Alex.
Morning, Pascal. This is Alex Winley from AM New York.
Morning, Alex.
Morning. You praise the team's courage against Miami, but how do you build on that bravery heading into another tough road match against LAFC this weekend? Thanks.
Well, the approach from a mental aspect, it doesn't change. I've mentioned a few times already in the outside world as well. What I'm focusing on is trying to get a bulletproof mindset and a bulletproof approach in each and every game that we go into. So from that angle, it doesn't change going into the LA game. So hopefully the boys, like I discussed with the other colleagues of you just now, have learned from game number one and take that with them into game number two.
Chris?
Hey, Coach. Chris Campbell from the outfield. Just wondering if you can give us an update, injury status and availability-wise for Saturday's match. Thanks.
It's looking good. The injuries have gone down. Tomorrow will be the first time that Thiago is in the squad as well. So that's a very positive thing to notice. And from now on, I hope the guys will be available and stay available, apart from the guys that have been away for a longer time already.
George? George, you're muted. All right, we'll come back to you, George. We'll go with Alec.
Hey, Coach. Alec Casa, Five Borough Footy.
Hi, Alec.
Today is roster compliance day, and we found out a little bit about the roster and what form it's currently in. When we spoke to David Lee, he mentioned that he was essentially looking at some players, but waiting for you to get more time with the squad to sort of understand, where you felt it was and where we needed reinforcements. I was wondering if those conversations have continued, if you have, sort of seen some areas that we would maybe need reinforcements, and if we should still be expecting some enforcements before the end of the transfer window. Well,
I hope there's going to be some activity in the transfer window still, because we need a little bit more depth in the squad. These conversations that you mentioned are going on every day, I would say. I'm in contact with David as much as I can in order to discuss what I see and what I feel about the current squad, but also making sure that we are aligned in what we see needs to be done to strengthen the squad. So that is something that's ongoing still, and hopefully we'll have some good news in the nearby future.
Go ahead, George.
Coach, sorry about that. Thank you for your time. I want to talk to you a little bit about the travel that you've had to deal with so far. You started preseason in California, had to come back, opened up on the road in Miami, been here for a few days, heading back to California. I think this might be the first time you're having to deal with something like this. How do you take this into consideration with, having to put your team together and whatnot?
Good question. For me, it's the first time, but I have a very experienced squad around me and staff members as well. So they help me out a lot. I listen, of course, to my staff who have dealt with these kind of situations before, and try to add details from my perspective. But it is what it is. It's a huge part of the MLS and playing these games that we're going to play. So we just have to deal with it and can never announce it as some kind of excuse not performing well enough. It is what it is, and we deal with it the best way we can and prepare ourselves the best way we can for each and every match.
Scott?
Hey, Coach, how are you? Scott Schertz from Stream Punk Soccer.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, real quick, you mentioned Thiago. Do we have any updates on Tavon? How's he doing? Thanks.
Yeah, Tavon is also good. Yeah, he's in the squad. I didn't mention in Tavon because it was only a few days that he wasn't available. He wasn't available for the Miami game, but once we got back and when we were in Miami, he was in training. And when we got back, he got back into full training with the squad again. So he's part of the squad for tomorrow again. Or today, traveling to LA and for the squad on Saturday, playing against LA.
Diego?
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Hi, good
This is
morning.
Diego Reyes of the Shot Magazine. I just wanted to hear your overall thoughts on Johnny Shore making his debut, being the ninth homegrown player to make their MLS debut.
Mhm.
Overall thoughts on how he played and how you see the pathway be continued within MLS.
Yeah, he did make his debut. It's something he earned himself. I didn't know him before I came to the club, obviously, but he did really well during preseason alongside of Justin or Keats in the games that we've played. So I was very confident to put him on the pitch when I saw the moment was there during halftime playing against Miami. So there was no doubt in my mind putting him in, and that's something he achieved by having a very good preseason. So going forward, I hope he can continue. One of his strong aspects is he's been available all preseason, even though the intensity and the load has gone up, and that's a big achievement for Johnny and a few other youngsters. So hopefully he can continue and build from this game that he played 45 minutes.
And final
Thank you.
one, we'll go with Michael.
Pascal, thanks for the time. Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio.
You're welcome, Michael.
Along the same lines of talking about Johnny Shore and some of these younger players, can you talk about how you develop them off the field? Obviously, you're trying to get them to integrate into your system and play better, but talk about their development as professional athletes.
Well, so far, I must say that the culture and the environment within New York has been tremendous. So the guys have grown and have been brought up in a way within the academy structure that I like myself. I see a lot of resemblance in certain aspects where I come from. Now I just try to add the details and my approach, and that's by having conversations, obviously, sharing videos, making sure that what I want to get across on the pitch is there in training, but also making sure that I put them in a certain context during training exercises to see how they will behave. And then, of course, evaluate these moments and make sure that the execution of decision making is going in the right way and at the right speed. So it's a combination of several factors, but just making sure you're aware of how they grow is something that is very important within this process.
Great. Thank you very much.
So Hannes, could you compare how you felt after the game with soaking in it a little bit more, maybe watching some of it, how you felt on both sides of it, giving up the late goal and maybe not being so comfortable at that moment?
Yeah, I think directly after the game, it felt a little bit like we lost because when you're so close with one man up. But yeah, I think during the week, still like the feeling that we played a good game. We had good moments. I think we watched the video back and we had like many moments to kill the game, to be honest. But we didn't. And yeah, if you don't kill the game against a team like Miami, they're always dangerous. And this is what we learned. But I think in general, it was still a good start for us in the season.
Can you compare, now it's just one game, but the differences between the way the team played under Nick versus the way the team plays under Pascal?
Yeah, I think like you said, it's like difficult to see everything after one game, but I think what we feel and what maybe the people saw already is like we play with more intensity. I think we try to play a little bit more direct. If we have space, we want to go to goal. Yeah, and I think we did a good job in attacking against Miami, but there's still like a lot to improve.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Chris.
Hey, Hannes, Chris Campbell from the outfield. Looking ahead to LA, what do you see that they present challenge-wise to what you guys want to do on Saturday? Thanks.
Presents me.
What challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, they're a great team. They have a strong offensive, especially with their three players. Sometimes you need to be careful when you attack because they cheat a little bit and they wait for their moments. And I think it's for us it's very important to find the balance when we attack, that we also have a good rest defense, that we don't concede counter attacks.
Oliver.
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue. Last year, you developed a really good partnership with Santiago Rodriguez. He obviously is no longer with the team. How do you see your role changing at the team?
Yeah, I think I think you cannot really like compare last year to this year because it was more yeah, I had also a role what was in many games more in the middle with Santi together, and yeah, now Santi is gone. It's a big loss for us, but now it's the time for other players to step up, and I think my role changed also last season a little bit more to the outside. This is what I do now, but we still like have very good players in the squad, and of course we miss Santi, but I think yeah, over time we will like find a way to replace him.
We'll go with Scott, followed by Michael Allen.
Hey, Hannes, how are you? It's Scott Church from Stream Punk Soccer. Now that this is your second year with NYCFC, how was the off season this season versus last? Any changes? Was it easier? Just whatever thoughts you've got there. Thanks.
Yeah, the off season was good. Also new for me to have such a long off season in the winter. But yeah, it was also important to get the head clear again for a new season. I think the goals this year are even higher than last year. We had good chances last year to reach something, and this year we want to grow again. I think yeah, the goal is it again to come in playoffs and come as far as we can. And for me as a player, just to stay healthy, to help the team, and because it's my second year also, improve in my importance for the team.
Michael.
Yeah, it's Michael Allen, Pro Soccer here. Looking ahead to LA, you said it's your second year in the league now. One of the hardest things to deal with in the league is travel. How do you, as a player, prep yourself for the travel in this league, and what's required in this game? And does that affect how you guys plan as a team for a game that's going to kick off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
I don't really think it affects us. Of course, the traveling is a lot, especially now it's our third time in a few weeks in California. What's a lot, but to be honest, this year I'm used to it. Last year, it was tough for me to see this in the start, but yeah, I think we travel today, so we have a good day and a good training tomorrow, and then we should be fine to make 3 points in LA.
And final one, George.
Hi, what's going on, man? Last year I saw you towards the end of the season, and you did an interview where somebody mentioned that you were looking to maybe get out of the MLS, and it was taken out of context. Taken out of context. That's what you told me, that they just understood you wrong and they put it out there wrong. How are you feeling about the MLS and everything that's kind of happening with you and NYCFC going into your second season with the team?
Yeah, the interview I did last year was in German, and so the English version was not right, because I only said that the goal as a player who came from Europe, and because I'm from Europe, is always like to have the dream maybe again to play in Europe. But as I told you too, like I'm very happy at this club. I love the country, and I have a lot of fun in the MLS. And so if what's the future brings, if I ever leave the MLS again or not, I don't really know. But as I said, I'm very happy, and yeah, I want to continue here, and yeah, play more consistent than last year. Yeah, and then just help the team, and I want to win something here. That's a big goal.
Thank you, everybody.